In the blistering heat of August 1578, an explosive showdown unfolded in the Moroccan valley of Wadi Makhazin, a seismic event that shattered the Portuguese Empire and set the stage for the Spanish Habsburgs to seize control of Portugal. This video was sponsored by Historia. Check them out at the end of the video or in the description. The echoes of this conflict resonated far beyond the battlefield, reshaping the geopolitical landscape of Europe and Africa in profound and lasting ways. Known as the Battle of the Three Kings, this fierce clash saw three monarchs: King Sebastian I of Portugal, Sultan Abdul-Malik of Morocco, and the deposed Sultan Abu Abdullah Muhammad II, battle it out on the same brutal terrain. To grasp the full picture, we need to journey back to the late 15th century. Morocco, then under the rule of the Waṭṭasids, was a land fragmented into smaller emirates. The winds of change began to blow in 1415 when the Portuguese launched a bold military campaign, aiming to conquer the port cities of the Maghreb and transform them into bustling trade hubs for their burgeoning empire. On a fateful day, August 2nd, 1415, the Portuguese captured the strategic port city of Ceuta, setting the stage for further conquests. Their appetite for expansion led them to annex Qasr al-Saghir in 1458, and then, in 1471, to seize the vital cities of Tangier and Aela. The Spanish, ever watchful, seized the opportunity presented by the region's instability and invaded Melilla in 1497. The Portuguese, undeterred, continued their campaign. In 1505, they annexed Agadir, where they constructed the infamous fort of Santa Cruz. Their momentum carried them forward, and by 1506, they had entered Essaouira. The years that followed saw the fall of Asfi, Azamur, and finally Al-Jadida. The Saudi Dynasty came about as a reaction to the Portuguese invasions. Seeing the weak Waṭṭasids unable and unwilling to do anything about them, the Saudis took Marrakesh as a base of operations and began waging war on two fronts. Against the Portuguese on one side and the Waṭṭasid regime on the other. They inflicted a heavy loss on the Waṭṭasids at the Battle of Darna in 1545, after which they put the city of Tadla under siege. The road to Fez, the capital of the Waṭṭasids, then lay open for the taking. In 1548, the Saudis prepared a large army of 30,000 soldiers and besieged the city before conquering it in 1549. After some skirmishing with the Ottoman-backed Waṭṭasids, the Saudi managed to put a definitive end to their rule. With Morocco now liberated from the Portuguese threat, the next objective was to strengthen the economy. The Saudi focused on the agriculture to fund their movement. The Saudi were also the first to introduce gunpowder formally to the country, focusing on the production of cannons and rifles in Marrakesh from 1539 onwards. It is around this time that a Moroccan from the Souss region discovered the secret art of bomb making. It is fairly known that Jewish traders played an important role in boosting the Moroccan economy, in preparation for what was to come. Despite having Ottoman mercenaries in his army, a sheikh had poor relationships with the Ottoman. During an exchange with an Ottoman embassy, he even called them the Sultan of the Fishermen, and added that he would meet them in Cairo. Suleiman the Magnificent, feeling threatened, had him assassinated. His son Al-Ghalib would succeed him. His brothers Abdul-Mu'min, Abdul-Malik, and Ahmed fled Morocco together, feeling that they could be targeted by Al-Ghalib, who was clearing the path for his son Al-Mutawakkil to take his place as ruler over Morocco. They went to Ottoman-controlled Tlemcen. Abdul-Malik had put his time with the Ottoman to good use, improving relations with a number of top officials. He persuaded them to give him an army, which he led to victory over al-Mutawakkil outside of Fez. Triumphant at last, he marched into the city as the new sultan and sent his younger brother Ahmad to chase down al-Mutawakkil, who had fled south. The deposed sultan, unable to rally support in Morocco, fled to Portugal and went to ask for help to the young king, Don Sebastian. Don Sebastian, concerned with the waning glory of the Portuguese Empire and seeking to regain territory lost to the Saudis, personally joined al-Mutawakkil with a force between 18,000 and 26,000 European soldiers. They sailed and landed in Aela, from whence they marched to meet a much larger Saudi army at Wadi al-Makhazin, where Abd al-Malik and his young brother Ahmad had prepared. The battle started as Abd al-Malik lured Don's forces into a strategic location in between 3 rivers from which it was impossible to escape, and that was difficult to resupply. Lines were structured as such: cannons at the front, markmen right behind them, with the Amazigh soldiers behind them. Abd al-Malik was in the middle, while al-Mansur was hidden with his own cavalry behind the mountains. Don Sebastian gave the order for a frontal offense, while the Moroccan troops were reloading their weapons. The strategy worked, as the first and second Moroccan lines were taken by surprise. Abd al-Malik reorganized them in sturdy lines and gave the signal to his brother Ahmad to attack from the sides. It appears Abd al-Malik was very sick, and he would have gone back discreetly to his camp to lay down, and he died in secret, while his brother Ahmad took over the battle. The Portuguese army was in too deep, and the Moroccan had surrounded them and won the battle. 3 kings had died on that day: Don Sebastian and his Moroccan ally al-Mutawakkil killed in the fighting, and Abd al-Malik died of sickness in his camp. When the dust settled, only one leader remained. The young Ahmad ascended the throne and would be henceforth known as Ahmad al-Mansur, the victorious one. The battle gave a lot of prestige and legitimacy to the Saudi Caliphate, and understandably threatened the neighbors. The most immediate and catastrophic impact of the battle was the death of King Sebastian I of Portugal. Sebastian had no direct heirs, leading to a dynastic crisis known as the Portuguese succession crisis. With the Portuguese throne left vacant, the stability and independence of the kingdom were jeopardized. Additionally, the Portuguese military was left broken after the battle due to heavy losses, which impeded its former power and strength. The financial cost of the failed military campaign drained the Portuguese treasury, exacerbating economic instability, which left Portugal both militarily and economically vulnerable. In the wake of the dynastic crisis, King Philip II of Spain, who had a legitimate claim to the Portuguese throne through his mother, seized the opportunity to annex Portugal. In 1580, Philip II became King Philip I of Portugal, uniting the 2 crowns under the Iberian Union. This union lasted until 1640 and significantly shifted the power dynamics in Europe, as Spain now controlled the vast Portuguese colonial empire, including territories in Africa, Asia, and the Americas.
Did you know the Quran was 1/3 history? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us the stories of the people of the past for us to reflect upon. Learning from our past can teach us so much about our present and our future. And this is why we created our YouTube channel. But we didn't want to just stop there. We wanted to walk on the footsteps of our predecessors. And this is your chance to do just that. Join us in June, September, and December as we visit the Muslim heritage of Al-Andalus, plus our limited, so grab yours now.